Dun, dun, dun. There's usually intro. I probably don't know how to do the intro. So we might be live right now for all I know.
I think you were supposed to do the countdown and not just go live, but sure.
There is, I don't know where I couldn't see the countdown. Doesn't matter. This is how it works.
Yeah.
Hello, everybody. How's everybody doing? Chat to us. Tell us what's happening. What are you saying?
Yeah.
Can you hear us?
Exactly. Can you hear us?
Sure you can. Stream Elements bot running. Thanks, Stream Elements, for acknowledging that you can see us. Is it really the kickoff of the event if we don't have music? Oh, and we have a Dmitry joining us backstage. So we'll bring Dmitry out in just a moment. It's good to see everybody in the chat. Hi, I'm David Ortinau, program manager with the .NET team, here to talk to you about what's happening in the community around Xamarin and Maui. And with me, we have a special co-host, Sweeky.
Yes. I don't look like Maddie, but here I am. Hello. Greetings, everybody. I'm Sweeky. I work on the dev customer engagement team. That basically just translates to lots of fancy words that say we help our customers be successful with .NET MAUI. And
Awesome.
Xamarin and .NET MAUI. I don't know when we're supposed to stop saying Xamarin at some point, I think, but yeah.
No, I don't know. We'll probably slip up and say Xamarin for a very long time. We have years to go with this.
Just blame it on David. That's what I do. It's like anything you do anything wrong, just blame it on David. Just tag you, David, and you're good.
Yeah. I think I might have been the one to suggest the name transition. So throw darts at my picture, I guess, if that's bothering you. I'm going to kick off with a couple of news items for everybody, and then we'll have some fun and banter. If you are used to seeing Maddie Legere, she chose to not be here this week so that she could update her Twitter handle. So I'm excited to see what she's going to change it to.
You're just jealous you can update your sad little Twitter handle, aren't you? Like you're just stuck with...
I've been married for 25 going on 26 years, so 26
although I
years
think you should change it to what was the one that Teams suggests? Like Teams gave me a notification with your name today, and it just said David
Ortinau,
and I think that's a great attachment to your just general personality right now. I vote for that. Yeah,
you vote for that.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll see what Maddie decides. She put out a poll a while back asking folks what she should do with her new last name, and she got more suggestions than she probably bargained for, but that's Twitter. So a couple of announcements. First of all, Xamarin has shipped Xcode 13 support. So if you've been looking for this, it's actually been out there. You know, everything that we build is on GitHub, Azure Pipelines. You can get it at any point. We've been shipping the betas in .NET 6, train, we like to call these things trains, release trains, since early this year when they announced it from Apple. But you can get it now in Visual Studio. Those are the versions that you need to be looking for. If you are finding that your setup is throwing IB foundation errors and mismatch this, mismatch that, these are the versions for you to standardize on for your Xamarin development. This is, of course, iOS 15, iPadOS 15, but Apple did remove macOS when they went GA. So that means that you aren't going to get macOS just yet. And I'm sure they will have an event where they will announce things, and then we will re-add our support. This also means that for Xamarin development, you want to be using the Xcode 13 GA release, not a beta release. But if you are writing the .NET 6 wave and enjoying all the Maui things that we're doing, then you do actually need Xcode 13 Beta 5, because that's the last beta that also includes the macOS support. And Maui wants you to have macOS support. .NET 6 wants you to have macOS support. So for a period of time until Apple decides to release the hounds of macOS, you'll have this 2 versions of Xcode that you'll need to
Yeah, I literally just did this yesterday afternoon, getting my Mac set up, like cleaned up rather, not set up. But yeah, totally easy to have a side-by-side install if anybody's like wondering or confused. Super easy to do. Also, everybody, by the way, is completely thrown off that we didn't do a countdown. I just like jump straight into it. This is like these comments are just like.
Should I stop and figure out where the countdown is? I don't even know where it is. Like I looked.
Should we do a countdown? Do you want us to do the countdown? Like 5.
There
4.
are banners. Yeah, I don't even know where it is. Like I couldn't find it.
Guys, David has no idea. Maddie just like left us, and she thought we'd be knowing what we're doing. We have.
Here's video clips. Here's video clips. Oh, there's a promo video clip. There's a starting soon. No, I'm not going to click on it because I don't know what's going to happen.
I swear, I think.
Let's not make it worse, right?
Yes, but I can confirm everything that you just showed works as is, and you can have those side by side, and you can continue your dev work. So, yes.
Yes. All right. So the next item that I want to cover, thank you for the countdown, 3D Polywraith, is regarding the Xamarin to .NET MAUI roadmap. So we'll touch on the blog post from last month that Scott Hunter published on the .NET blog here in just a bit. But these are the kind of the main questions that I've been getting since that blog post went up. And I thought it would be useful to just cover this real quick. So we will be continuing to ship previews of .NET MAUI through Q1, and that's when we expect to land an RC quality release of .NET MAUI. Come November, we really feel like the preview is going to be very full featured. But, we've been waiting for the VS Max support, which, thank goodness that's now out there in the public. So that's awesome. So that means we can start developing more on the iOS and the Catalyst side of things. We use the same tools, right? The MAUI team uses the same tools. So we need it as much as everybody else does. And then by Q2 of 2022, we will have a GA release. So we are adjusting the schedule. And I do have, actually, while this is up, I did figure this out, this little trick. I can show the banner for the URL list. Look at that. So this is where all the links are. And I believe I even have the knowledge and power to drop this into the chat.
Come on, David. I have faith in you.
Yeah. All right. Sweet.
I have very little faith in you. I'm just pretending because we're on live stuff. We're live on Periscope, and I need my Periscope fans to continue to have faith in me.
You have Periscope fans?
No, I don't.
Is that what you just said?
Whoever's that one person watching us on Periscope, I appreciate you. I always appreciate that we have that.
It's fantastic. I think it's James Montemagno's mother, actually. I think is that who it is.
Thank you for watching us.
Thank you for watching. Yes. So yeah, the roadmap is there. I also have a link to the roadmap here on the screen. And that will give you an expectation as to what's going to land in what release. Of course, these are not contractual promises in terms of what lands in what release. It needs to be done so we can ship it. So you can always go to the project boards that are linked from there, and you can see exactly what is actually completed in that release. We do have a release, by the way. Psst, secret. Yeah, we have a release coming next week.
Oh,
so
you're supposed to say that out loud.
It's coming next week. Okay. Anybody who has a calendar and can count to 4 can figure out that we have a monthly release, and that's when it's going to come. So, and then the other question is, how long will Xamarin be supported? What does this change in the MAUI release schedule mean for Xamarin? And we went back and really looked at it, and we're like, you know what? We have the modern lifecycle policy, and this is what we're already governed under. So why change it? It provides 2 years of support after the last release of a version. So that's even more generous than what we were originally thinking in terms of transitioning from Xamarin to .NET 6. So let's just stick with that. It made sense then. It makes sense now. And so what does that mean for support for MAUI once we do release? Well, it's part of .NET, right? So it's covered under the .NET 6, the .NET Core lifecycle policy, which is also a modern lifecycle policy, but on its own cadence. All right. So those are my big news announcements. We will get to some blogs and some other community news here. But first, let me flip over to Sweeky's.
Oh my God, yes, it's my turn.
It is your turn. And as a matter of fact, since it's your turn.
Yeah, we're going to do
No, I can't do that.
And you can do that. Oh, you can do this. Oh crap, this is cool. Okay. Sorry guys, I've completely forgotten how it is to do present things now. No. So I was gonna take this opportunity to explain to everyone about one of the coolest Indian festivals going on right now. It's called Navratri, which translates to 9 nights. And for the 9 nights, we actually have so for 9 days, I guess, not nights, but nights technically, because you technically go out and dance each one of these 9 nights. But since we're not doing that because COVID and everything, for the next 9 days, there's a set color to be worn every day. Today is day 1, October 7th, and I am in yellow because today's color is yellow. So I'm going to tweet this, little chart out after this. But basically, if you are going to play along with me, we're going to wear every color for every day. And yeah, that's it. So I just want to just let everybody know that there's an awesome thing going on in one of the awesomest countries in the world. And I think we should all, take part in this. It's going to be really fun.
And
So
I do
David,
have.
what do you have? Where's your Oh, you went all colors in one day, so that's a little aggressive. That's not how this game is played. Come on, David, chill out. So
I wanted, I just wanted to. I feel like I missed some days, right? No, today is the first day. Today is the first day. I wasn't paying attention when you were explaining this. Clearly,
right? No, it started today. So first today is so basically everyone, you're gonna have to play along with us because I'm gonna make David play along now. But yeah, also David, we have to clarify. You cannot just wear any blue. It needs to be royal blue. Okay, I just want to make.
So this doesn't quite. Well, I think this kind of is more of a heathered blue. I guess I'm just trying to count. I think I have everything except purple and pink.
Oh damn, that's actually pretty impressive. I mean, I still believe it's a little aggressive because it's one color.
Hang on.
Stop being such an overachiever. Okay, stop it. I'm David. I just wear all my colors in one day. No, that's just not how it works. So yes, yeah. So anyways, absolutely tangential to what we were supposed to be discussing, but I felt it was very important that everybody on the stream get a little extra trivia, and some new stuff you learned today, apart from .NET MAUI stuff. So yay!
No, I absolutely love it, and it's that's the one thing I've really enjoyed about working with the Xamarin and the .NET communities, is that I mean, they are one community, but it's very global, right? And so being aware of different cultures and what's happening around the world.
Yeah,
and then even how technology is used around the world, right? It's not the same in one country versus another country in terms of popularity, in terms of usage, in terms of how they're doing things, or how they even think about building software. It's totally, it can be completely different. And if you think, hey, my way is the way, and I can't believe that they don't do this. It's like, well, broaden the horizons. Let's talk to some more people. And
Yep. So if this is successful, by the way, I'm going to do a Maui launch color for a couple of days. We'll set everybody to, you remember how we did it for Evolve? We had a color per day. We'll bring back, those fond memories, and we'll all wear a particular .NET MAUI shirt. So,
I see some chat here wanting the hot reload demo. So Dmitry is preparing.
Oh, yeah, he's in hot demand. Yes.
So we'll bring Dmitry here in just a minute. But I'm going to firstly share my screen with this, and Sweeky, I'll let you kind of cover the first several items here.
Oh, yeah, that's right. So okay. So the first one that I wanted to talk about was Ben on our team, and I think I saw him in the chat hanging out somewhere, is on this awesome podcast, and he is talking about the work that he did with the Azure IoT team. It's a really cool app because we got to see him in he kept showing it to us. So I've seen it, and it's a really cool podcast, and you should definitely check it out if you're curious on how Xamarin and .NET MAUI is going to work with Azure IoT. So yep, and Ben's in the chat. So if you have any questions for him, you should totally tag him in the chat and ask him questions. But that's the first podcast I wanted to highlight. So it's super cool. Definitely check it out. Our team is awesome. The second one is, so there's also James's tweet, which actually has a highlight reel of everything Craig and him were talking about in this live stream. So this is a 2-hour long live stream where Craig is from the Surface Duo team now, and he is helping James add dual screen support for the Surface Duo to his Cadence app. So my Cadence app. So Yeah. The full stream is actually pretty great because I finally got around to watching it, all of it yesterday. But if you want like a quick highlight reel version, just go onto James's Twitter and he's put a nice little like, sizzle reel for like a minute 30. So pretty awesome, pretty cool. If you've been following James's stream, this is another great addition. And the last thing, it's a little bit of self-promotion here, but it's actually more about my other teammate Dean. It's all about my team today. I like it. So my other teammate Dean and I, we were talking about like actually not just Upgrade Assistant. We were talking about the upgrade path of that from Xamarin Forms to .NET MAUI. At the Orlando.NET user group. The video is up now. So Dean actually shows how a manual migration looks like. Also, again, everything with an asterisk attached to it. This was, as of today, the bits that we have today and what the transition, the upgrade path looks like. So Dean shows you how it looks, how it is to do it manually and things like that, versus what I then wanted to show was the features that we're trying to add into the awesome tool that already exists, that's Upgrade Assistant. And we're adding MAUI support to Upgrade Assistant. So basically that'll automate a lot of the steps and try and make your upgrade paths a lot easier. So yeah, that's what we have.
Awesome. Yeah, there's a lot of great content out here. And it looks like you had quite a few people attending the session. So
yep, we had some good questions at the end. It was a really good event. Yep.
All right, so this is the blog post that I referred to earlier. So if you're looking for hey, why are we changing the schedule a little bit for .NET MAUI? What does that mean for .NET 6? .NET 6 is still GA in November, but we want to make sure that we focus on all the fundamentals and making sure that MAUI meets expectations. We've, I can share from my experience, of course, I get a lot of customer questions about .NET MAUI and what it can do, how it can help. And then, of course, I am always eager to hear what you want it to do because, we prioritize our work and our backlog based on how it's going to help solve your actual needs. But I've had a lot of customers coming to me asking about this, and they have no Xamarin apps, which is really cool, right? So it's not just for mobile because MAUI is desktop also. So lots of information in here, as well as some cool screenshots. And I don't know why this happens, but once you click the play button, it behaves. My Edge, by the way, is just bananas right now. When I go to one of these GitHub links, you'll see it's just, the formatting's totally bonkers. I don't know what I did. Also, this is one that you mentioned, Sweeky, we should definitely highlight. I say that not because my name is on the screen. I don't know why my
conveniently that's the video you picked. I
didn't do it. Gerald put it first, so blame Gerald. I didn't do this. But we just last Friday had this Xamarin Expert Day event. Gerald, Tobias, Glenn, and others put this together. I apologize. I missed some names, I know, but did a fantastic job hosting this all-day event, speakers from around the globe, and covered tons of great content. So this is fresh content. Go check this out. Look at all these great sessions in here. And you don't want to miss Maddie Leger's final performance, I guess, as Maddie Leger, where she at the end, which one is it? I don't remember which one it is.
I got, maybe the video hasn't been.
Oh, this one. It's this one right here.
Oh, is that the one? Oh, yeah, there we go. Okay.
So they put Maddie second. So sorry, Maddie. I'm number one. You're number two. What? But this is a great one because she actually gives you some kind of history and behind the scenes. Our team is probably not too dissimilar from your team. We're working hard to get everything done, and sometimes it's stressful. So check that out. Let's see here. I mentioned the Xcode 13 support. So yeah, look at this formatting. Like my padding is all jacked up. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, it doesn't like
I even rebooted it.
It's okay. Not many people like you, so it's fine. I guess Edge is another one on the list.
And since I'm going through these slides, I will once again post the URL list, which is this banner, the one banner that I know how to turn on. And if I can remember, I will turn it off.
Great button pushing. Great button pushing.
I know, right?
You got such a good PM, David. You know how to.
I need to figure out how to get that tied into the Stream Deck, though. So I don't know. But if you want to know like current status on Xcode 13, what are the issues that people may be hitting? You know, I mean, it's a quick release, right? So you want to know what you're in for? Come check this out, and you can find it's a long thread, lots of conversation, but we're addressing issues as quickly as we can. I think the current outstanding issues are regarding hot reload with iOS 15 and Xamarin Forms, and with hot restart. So fixes are coming for those things. And when they are shipping, we will make all kinds of noise about it. See, I don't know what's up with the graphics, but
man, yeah, you're making it look all funny and odd. Yeah.
I know.
It's a really pretty website. Yeah.
But the important part is that you can come here and you can get yourself the latest VS Mac 2022. I think it's the first public preview. They had a private preview before this.
Also, before anyone freaks out, it can go side by side with your current VS for Mac install, because I feel like that was talked about a bit. It's like it works. I literally, like I said, been doing that yesterday, and it works side by side. So do not freak out. You can keep your VS 29, like VS for Mac 2019, and this new one side by side.
Yeah, and but that's not a challenge to go try to break it, because if you install enough things, you'll find the edges. But if you're just worried about having VS 2019 on Mac and 2022 on the Mac, you'll be fine. You'll be good to go.
Yep.
So I have many versions of those things on my Mac. So let's see, a couple of PR community related things. So Pedro Jesus has taken on the challenge of bringing FF image loading to .NET 6 and .NET MAUI. Woo!
Nice.
This is a huge challenge, and I think Sweeky, you might know this because Alex had somebody on your team, maybe you.
It was Dean, if I'm remembering correctly. It was Dean. He did try and take a first pass,
took a look at actually porting it, right? Not just making it compatible.
Yeah, to borrow Maddie's word, Maui-fying it.
Maui-fying.
Yeah.
So I think that there's good progress here. There's enough built that we should be able to test it. We being the community, and let Pedro know where things stand. I didn't tell him I was going to do this, so sorry, Pedro. But he sent me a link to this, and he's like, "Hey, please go check it out, test it out." And we're excited because he has spoken to the original maintainers, and I believe that there's a good understanding there about bringing this stuff to .NET 6, and it's kind of on him. We may end up proposing where we can make sure that it has good maintainership over whatever. I don't know. We want to make sure that it's there because we know it's an important one for the community, just like RG plugins pop-ups. So this is another popular library, and you can see there's a Maui compatibility branch here. So Lucky Ducko Tyson down in Australia has been working on this with others and bringing up support for .NET MAUI. So I don't know how it's going, but I know it's going. And so that's cool. If you are working on this and you have questions, feel free to email me directly because I don't actually see all of my GitHub notifications. It's like a flood. GitHub notifications is like a flood of things, and
it's all about those folders, man. You have to.
Yeah, I do. I actually started adding some new rules recently. So I asked Gerald, our king of community contributions, what's the best place to go look for .NET related Hacktoberfest opportunities? So I think most of us are aware Hacktoberfest by DigitalOcean is kind of an event that they run where they promote contributing to open source. And if you hit the number of PRs, quality PRs, not just I fixed your typos, then you can get yourself a nice t-shirt. So plenty of things in here. I always like to recommend, the Xamarin Community Toolkit, or now the .NET MAUI Community Toolkit. Yeah, MAUI is on here, so you can totally do some contributing there as well. It's a little, I'm not pushing heavy on the MAUI contribution stuff right now because so much of the work that we're doing is pretty, I don't know, it's not the easiest to contribute to right now because we're doing a lot of fundamental work. But in the future, it will be much easier to contribute to. So that is where we're heading. So lots of things here. Definitely check this out if you're looking for a way to get yourself some cotton. And then I wanted to point this out. This probably should have been right after the iOS 15 post, but
Possibly, yes.
some improvements coming here for iOS 15 in Xamarin Forms. So we know that there are issues. The fixes are here. If you need to be unblocked for any reason, like immediately, and you can't wait for the next service release, which will be coming soon, you can grab the builds right off of these. I don't know if everybody knows this, right? This check right here, everybody should see the check, and you should be able to click on it. Well, or maybe I should have hovered it and then clicked on it. I can do the same thing down here. I can go to show all the checks, and then I can go to the CI. And basically from here, you can navigate to a place where you see the artifacts and you can download the NuGets. So once you figure out that path, it's a pretty cool thing. You don't have to wait. You don't have to wait for us to do anything. Nothing at all.
It's just self-service. Yep.
And on this, let's see, roadmap, where did I have the release notes? Oh, here it is. So I wanted to point out that there is a Xamarin Forms Service Release 5 that went out 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. And Service Release 6 is underway. There's a project board on Xamarin Forms. So if you are a Xamarin Forms customer developer and you want to know what's going on, lots of activity over there. Javier and Gerald are just crushing it. So very excited to see that.
Man, just crushing it in the chat as well. Just like telling more information than we know. It's like it's easier to get the NuGets by just adding the NuGet, like the PR feed. And I'm like, damn it,
that's right. There is a PR feed now. That's a really good point.
Yeah.
I was not aware of that until actually just like, I don't know, a month ago. And then I promptly forgot it because I added it to my Visual Studio. And
hey man, tends to happen. Even I forget. But yeah, for sure. Do what Gerald said. Add it to your feed and that's it. You just instantly get access. No need to click 5 times.
I did want to highlight for those who, I would imagine everybody here knows this, but one of the best resources for .NET Mobile, Xamarin, and now Maui is the weekly Xamarin aggregation. And my favorite part, awesome iPhone and Android app that goes with it. So when you're doing your daily reading, wherever you may do your daily reading,
Thanks for clarifying that.
You can access this. I'm just giving people ideas. Maximize your time. Maximize your time. Let's see here. What else did I want to talk about? Couple of awesome releases from the major component vendors. Telerik has been continuing to push out their .NET MAUI controls, and I was really excited because I saw some in here that I didn't even know that they had. Barcode, and this is actually another one. So if you're using the zebra crossing library in Xamarin,
we're officially calling it. No, I really like calling it Zzz.
I know, right? But I was on a call with Jonathan Dick, the maintainer of that little library wrapper, and I tried several pronunciations with him that none of them.
We've had this discussion. We've wasted many of our stand-ups trying to determine what do we call that, and I still vote for Zzz.
Oops, I tried to click on a question that I saw floating here. This. Anton asks, on Mac OS Visual Studio 2019 for Mac is the way to go for Maui development? No, you want 2022. All .NET 6 things on both Mac and Windows land in the 2022 releases. We call that Dev 17. The version number should be 17 dot something. So definitely 2022. You may get things to work in 2019, but that's not where you're going to get the best experience. Good question. All right, so cool stuff here from Progress. And as well, Dev Express has a great series of controls. And something that I like about all of these vendors is they actually supply sample apps to go along with these things. So Dev Express has released a suite of controls that go along with Preview 8 of .NET MAUI, which we shipped last month. Beautiful set of text edit and password edit, multi-edit, all the edits. There's actually a data grid in here. This is something that I get asked quite a bit about when it comes to especially desktop development. A data grid is kind of a go-to control. And you don't really call them data grids on mobile. Collection view is somewhat close. Certainly not feature parity, but data grid, yeah. And then they give a sneak peek of this new template studio kind of a thing here where you can do a whole lot more customization when you're creating a new project. So
that's so cool.
Yeah. So you can find things like this out there in the Visual Studio Marketplace, which they say is where they're going to land this once it's ready. And look at that.
Ooh.
You see that word?
Ooh.
This is the best word. Free. So lots of free stuff that you
You
can.
don't have to tell me about it. I love free stuff. Yeah.
I'm sure that the money will be exchanged at some point. No thanks. And then Sync Fusion also on the same day that Dev Express blogged their stuff is sharing their latest stuff. And I apologize. This is not doing it justice because everything is so skewed in my browser right now. So these actually look much better in the proper.
There you go.
Way,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So nobody asked me to share these, by the way. Is this something you're supposed to say on live streams? I am not being paid for these promotions or something like that.
Yeah, because you're such a big influencer, no? Yeah, you need to say stuff. Yeah, like hashtag not an ad, hashtag you David, hashtag, yeah.
There is something in here that I did want to highlight. I don't remember which ones of these it was. Okay, so are these controls migrated from Xamarin Forms? No, these controls are developed from scratch with the .NET MAUI graphics library. And I think that's super cool because this is the new graphics library that we depend upon in MAUI. So Microsoft.maui.graphics. This is not actually it, but I'll go ahead and just go here. Underneath the graphics controls is the graphics library, which is a set of cross-platform abstraction layer that uses native graphics drawing engines on each platform. And then we have this experiment, and this is maybe something to do a Hacktoberfest contribution to. Go talk to Javier about what he would like to see. Maybe fix his build, I don't know. And it's basically Cupertino, Fluent, and Material controls that are drawn and hybrid controls. So native functionality, native accessibility with the ability to draw whatever you need to draw. And excited about this, especially excited about high performance and pixel perfect, right?
I mean, you can go to the graphics, the links right there if you want to go to the actual repo.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. And so this library actually came from John Lipsky.
Yay, John Lipsky! Woo! Sorry, he's my previous manager. He's my favorite person. So
he is one of my favorite people. I will not hold it against him that he is from Kansas City, which is our rival across the state. But yeah, this is actually a rather old library. It's about 7+ years old, I think, maybe 10 years old. Started way back in the Mono days, where he had been using it for his own commercial projects and things. So it's pretty battle tested, and he has worked with us. John's now over on the GitHub team.
He is, yep.
But this is, yeah, so we are absolutely using this, and the controls is the experimental piece. So this will go GA when MAUI goes GA. All right. Half an hour in. Dmitry, are you awake? Dmitry, are you there? I'm waking him up. He's waving. All right, let me go back to a slide where we can do this. I'm going to remove this, and I'm going to bring Dmitry in now. And let's, hey, what's happening?
Hey, how's it going? How's my audio?
Your audio's good.
Awesome.
I can hear you.
Yeah, I'm testing my Surface Laptop Studio built-in microphone to see if it meets all the hype. It's supposed to be really good for meetings. This is like a meeting, right?
Yeah, it is a meeting. So you can't take your camera, though, and show us the Surface Studio, can you? Because it's actually what you're using.
But I posted a picture on Twitter, so you can just go to my Twitter account. It's a beautiful device. I am not being paid to say this. I do work here, so I'm a little biased. But the Surface Laptop Studio, I've got the 32 gig, 1 terabyte version in front of me, and it's the best Surface laptop I've ever used. It's quite significantly better. It's snappy. It's got a great touchpad. I brought the mouse, and I don't barely use it. Like touchpad is just like really beautiful, and it finally doesn't make a loud clicking noise. Can you believe that? Anybody use the Surface knows the click.
Yes, the click. Yeah, that is the biggest improvement. I think I'm already excited. I must get myself one.
So fun fact: at my house, if I bring any Surface device that clicks that loudly to the living room to work from the living room, I get kicked out of the living room because my wife's like, "That is annoying. Get out." and maybe I'll have better luck with this device. I haven't tried it yet, but we'll see what happens.
So you don't have a mechanical keyboard clearly then, because
well, I have an office, right? I close the door. My wife doesn't care, but like in her space, right? Because we only have so much space in the house. It's like, yeah, don't bring the clickety thing.
That's a loud click. I understand that annoyance. It is a lot. I get annoyed sometimes with myself doing it, so it's like
clicking yourself to annoyance. There you go.
Yeah, it's like
awesome.
I'm so excited. Oh my god! Hot reload on hot new hardware. All the hot bits today. Oh my god.
Oh, the bits are so hot, they're on fire. So I will apologize. I did not get Android emulator working in this new machine this morning. I've just I sort of had to prepare for another set of demos, and that means I had very particular things I set up, and then I tried last night, and I just cried. I was like, okay, this is my fault. I should have actually gotten prepared, but that's okay. We'll talk about all the things. We'll demo all the things. I've got some cool stuff to show, so we'll be all right.
Cool. Well, are you ready for me to share your screen?
Oh, well, let's start just high level first, just to introduce people, and then we'll switch over. And I only have one screen in front of me, so I'll switch to where I should be later. So we've been working on Hot Reload for a while. I'm sure folks on this call are not new to it, but if you just happen to be, just the 2 seconds, what is Hot Reload? We've had Hot Reload for XAML for quite some time. And the new thing that we've been working on is not just continuing to have hot, for XAML. We're very committed to the XAML part of this equation. It's very important. But we also want to bring you .NET Hot Reload as well. What that means is changing your C# code and being able to apply those changes in as many situations as we can enable. It's really a difficult tech to implement on a live running app on an existing framework that has as much history as .NET. We're not building things from the ground up, but we're really giving it a strong shot across many teams at Microsoft. So it's a big effort. It's supported for the long run. We'll be working on this for many years to come. So we are on it. With that, I will say that for Xamarin customers, you will not get .NET Hot Reload. I just want to put that out there. It's a question I get all the time. We're focusing on Maui for Hot Reload. You'll still have XAML. We're committed to the XAML story across Xamarin and Maui, and we're committed to the Hot Reload C# story for Maui. So that's kind of the differentiator there. Do we have any questions? I saw you pop something on the screen.
I popped something up because I clicked it and I didn't know what I was doing. But the question from Anton was about the Maui controls being accessible and supporting high contrast and screen readers. And the answer is yes, especially the screen readers, and high contrast is also available to be supported. We'll do work to make that more easily supported.
Yeah, we didn't have questions, but we had a lot of requests for you to come and do your demo, Dmitry. So you're in high demand. I'm in high demand.
Awesome. Well, we have a lot of content coming this year, so there'll be plenty of opportunities to see my face and other folks demo Hot Reload. Cool thing about Hot Reload, it's not just for cutting edge. We're bringing it into Visual Studio 2022 for if you're like a framework developer working on your WinForms app, Hot Reload will work for you to change the code behind. If you are doing C++ development, as long as your app is unoptimized, Hot Reload experience is available to you as well. So I know some game developers are pretty excited. It's really, really broadly available. I don't want people to think that, they see Hot Reload and that what they, other projects they work on, it's not going to work for them in like web or whatever, right? It's coming everywhere in this release, .NET 6 and VS 2022. All right, so with that, let's go ahead and share my screen, and I will walk people through some of the recent announcements, and then we'll go do some demos.
Cool.
All right. So with that, I can see my screen. I want to point to release notes. I am been so busy. I wanted to do a blog post about this. I'm still going to do a blog post next week. Fingers crossed. But we do have release notes. Yay for release notes. I am pretty good about release notes. And the latest release, Preview 4, we had some really good stuff for Maui developers. So let's jump into the section for Hot Reload. And start off with saying that our UI changed. It is now more capable. This is a global change. It applies as much to a Maui developer as a console, WinForms, a web developer. This is the new button, the new Hot Reload button at the top. It has a drop down. You can finally enable Hot Reload on save. It's off by default, but there's like a checkbox right here that you can click on or go to settings and do the same, and that will enable you to Hot Reload on save. It's something I really like to do, and you can turn it on and off easily. So if it gets in your way, you can get rid of it. You can turn it on. It just remembers it as a Visual Studio roaming setting. So global change, and with settings, we do have a way. If hard reload for some reason is giving you trouble, I ask for only two things. One, please report it. We want to know why hard reload is giving you problems, and then go to settings and disable it until it stops giving you problems. Like we are making this configurable. But the really exciting news for Maui developers is that we finally have Maui support as of Preview 4. And that means that you are able to go ahead and use hard reload with a Maui application for iOS, Android, and WinUI. WinUI was previously available. This is really great news because we've taken our time to get iOS and Android capability in there, but it's finally there. So you should get it working. So sorry I can't demo it today, but let's talk about that. So there's two ways to use hard reload in your developer lifecycle as a Maui developer. You could be running a Windows head, so you're in VS for Windows. You have to be in VS for Windows to get hard reload today. We do hope to bring it to VS for Mac in the future. That's just not what today's story is. So we're only talking about Windows developers today. So you're on Windows and you let's say choose WinUI as your runtime target. So you start your app, it's a WinUI app. What does that really mean? That means it's running on top of Core CLR. And that's where you're going to get the broadest set of capabilities as a developer. You'll be able to make the most amounts of edits. If you need to run your iOS or Android app on your device or on your Android emulator for your Windows machine, you will get hard reload, but you will get a more limited version of it. So you'll get the ability to edit method bodies. There's a few limitations even within that, like you can't add an async method. You can't mark something async and add an await. There's other limitations there as well. We are going to reduce those limitations in the future, but I just want to make it clear, if you want the broadest amount of hard reload, if you want to just hard reload as much as you can in your debug session, just target Windows, and then we will over time make iOS and Android better and better. But even for iOS and Android, there's all sorts of things you can do, so you should always just try to use the feature whenever you can. If it asks you to restart, well, you're not worse off than you were before, right? In that sense. So with these release notes out of the way, let's actually go and do a demo. I'm going to go ahead and switch to a very, very basic Maui demo. It's just the latest bits here. This is actually Preview 4 that I'm running. So it's what you have. I'm not showing you anything that you don't have access to. It's not an internal preview. It's a public preview. And with that, I'm going to show you a WinUI app here running. So you got your typical click demo. Let's go ahead and do some hard reloading. So typical ClickUp, right? So I'm doing that. That's great, Dmitry. We've all seen that before. Let's go and switch to the code behind for a second. And in my code behind, I'm just going to do the first demo I always show. I'm just going to swap this to -. And again, I could click the hard reload button, but I've enabled hard reload on save, right? So that means that by enabling this checkbox, I don't need to press the button anymore. So instead, you can't see me do it, but believe me, I'm pressing Control Save. And now hard reload has magically updated the app. I'm going to go switch back, and now I'm going to go backwards in the count. That's exciting, right? Not super exciting. Let's do something slightly crazier, right? Let's do the typical thing I still do to this very day. Call me old school. I had debug right line statements everywhere in my code, right? So I still enjoy that. So counter value should be right. And I'm going to say count right here. So now I've added a whole new line of code that wasn't there before. I'm going to hit save, and I'm going to go back. I'm going to click my button, and if you can see right here, it's happening, right? This was a significant change because not only did I have to add this line of code, I also had to include this using namespace. Again, all of this is possible in Core CLR. Core CLR has really a lot of capabilities that you can add. You could delete this line of code. So we can really go crazy. Button's doing nothing now. You can put it all back in. I could have typed it all in there, and now it's working as expected. So imagine how many times I would have just had to restart. Now, certainly there are some limitations, but let's continue to push the envelope here. Sorry, my typing is still. I'm not great at typing. When there's a live audience, I still get nervous as heck. I don't know why. It's really weird. Let's do a little testing. And let's move the code to another method. Let's call the method from here. Let's reload that. Still works. I mean, again, you can do a lot. So that's a quick demo of what's possible in a Maui app.
Hey, question here from literally everything. Do you need to enable hot reload every time you run the project, or is it enabled at the VS level anytime you run? What's the story?
Great question. We thought about this actually a lot. We wanted to be, intentful in everything we did. So one of the things we thought about was like, is this experience a default experience? And we spent a bunch of time making sure that it wasn't in your way, it wasn't causing any known perf issues, whatever. All the things that we had to do to put something as a default experience for so many developers on by default. And luckily, we've been able to do that. So it is on by default. You will, if you see this, like if this button is active, that's a hint that to you in the UI sense that it's telling you that hot reload is available. If this button is active and it's not working properly, please report it. Like, this really should be telling you the hot reload really is available. If the button is disabled for some reason, we will have docs that will try to explain some of the reasons why you could be in that state. One of the important things to remember is that this is a debug-only experience. So it's only enabled by default in the normal debug profile. If you, this profile here, if you switch this to the release profile, you're not going to get hot reload. We do not. This is not a production use technology. Please don't ship debug apps, to production. This is only meant to be an inner loop kind of thing. Not everybody knows what inner loop means. It's basically like you're building the app. You're on your dev machine. Use the debug profile. You get hot reload out of the box. Ship the app. Don't ship it as debug. That's just good standard practice.
So I have my own questions that I'm going to ask since I have a microphone, and I'll bring Sweeky in case Sweeky has questions. So one of the things that I find useful is to know, where should I be looking in the IDE to figure out, did it work? Did it not work? If it didn't work, how can I correct it? And I know that there is some feedback that we have in maybe the output panel. I think what you just pointed out about that if that button is enabled and alive, that means something, right? That means that it's available. So what are some of your tips that you can share with us to help us be productive?
Yes. So one of the things I want to point out is the preview 4 build that I'm running does not have hot reload in these output categories, as they're called, inside of the output window. You will see this appear in future previews in preview 5. Fingers crossed that it goes live. And also, you will, in the future, like in 17.1 of Visual Studio, we will even do more to give you a lot of diagnostic information in the output window. But as a general rule, if the button is enabled today, that's a good sign. That means hot reload should be available. If you are making a change that, let's play around with this, right? Like let's take away valid C#ism from our app. Like, this is no longer a valid C# app. I took off one line here, and that means if I go to the error dialog, right? So if I go to errors, error list, error list is showing me my app, can't be built. If I press hot reload, I'm going to get a message box that tells me it's still the old message box. In the future, this will say hot reload, but basically it's telling you to go to the error list. So we will tell you if hot reload isn't going to apply the change successfully, and we allow you to go back, hit edit, fix the C#. Hit the apply changes button, and now the errors go away in the bottom pane, right? That got cleared up, and also you did not get a message prompt. So if the button's enabled, that hot reload button, and if after you click the button or you hit save, if you've enabled that, if you're not getting a prompt in your face, that's a really good sign. Hot reload should be working. But it's important to understand what hot reload working means. It's not magic in the sense that if you're changing code that's not going to be re-executed by your app, then your change while hot reload successfully applied it isn't going to be meaningful to you. That's just the reality. So if you change the constructor, like if I go up here and I add a bunch of code, this constructor is only going to be run once unless my app, architecture allows it to be run more than once. That means you'll have to restart. Like, that's something people should understand. If you have something like a button click, you're going to have to click the button. Like, there's nothing that we're going to do to click the button for you. We don't know what you want to do. We can let you change the code, but we're not going to exercise your app for you. If you have a timer that's running, that's calling a method every second, or if you have a button click, or you have a UI gesture, all of those will trigger code. If the code was changed successfully, you can use it to see the new logic, basically, if that makes sense.
Cool. Yeah. Well, we've got a couple other questions in the chat. Yeah. So if you don't mind, let's go ahead and ask some of these. So from Zamcat, which if I know the handle, that's got to be one of Sweeky's teammates. Could be, maybe not. But does hot reload work if you change something specific to Android or iOS?
Well, we care about, is it C# code, right? And will it be executed? So as long as those two things are true, I don't know of anything that's like iOS or Android specific. Now, if you have some if-defs in your app that's like if Android or whatever,
Right.
then that should be fine, right? You should be able to change code within that if-def as long as it's valid C# code.
Yeah, I have updated handlers. In Maui, a handler is usually platform-specific code. Not always. It can be for all platforms. But debug rainbows, one of the demos that I've done in the past, that's platform-specific code, and it worked. So yeah,
Nice.
for sure. All right, another question here from VJ. Can this be used to create UI using C# like XAML while running the app?
As long as your implementation of that enables some way for the code to be rerun. Because like, let's say you have a method that on the load of the page creates the UI using C#. You will need some way to call back into that method from your app. But as long as you're changing C#, again, this is a C# feature, right? Like, it doesn't care what the code is doing at the end of the day. It's going to change the code in place, and there's certain ranges within which we can or cannot make that change. So certain kinds of things in .NET that you can do, and they're totally valid, you will still have to restart for. But as long as you don't get that prompt, in fact,
Right.
let's cause that prompt. Like, let's rename this method. I'm pretty sure that will fail. There you go. So this is failing. Sorry, it's failing for the wrong reason. Let's fail it for the right reasons. There you go. Let's make this valid so the app is not broken. Yeah, so there you go. You're getting an ENC error. So you're getting one of those. Renaming a method requires a restart.
Restarting of
Yeah, so that's something that you can't do. But you can undo that, and you can say, okay, it's actually more important for me to keep working, not to restart this app. I'll do the renaming later. Like, I'm going to do this rename this later, and then you can go ahead and you can continue working. So
wouldn't it be cool if you could stash your change though? Like, okay, go ahead and make the change, stash it, and then when you're done, get a prompt that says, "Hey, you made this change. Do you want to apply it now?" It's like, yes. I'm just telling you.
Yeah, I love the idea.
It's giving you feature requests right here, right now.
Yeah, live feature requests. Woo! I love those.
I love this coming, like having used XAML hot reload for all this while. Like you were just talking about, the inner dev loop with any hot refresh technology is just mind blowing. It changes your whole, day to day, like so much. Is awesome.
Yeah, it's great. And I know you folks have seen this before. And sorry, I'm having some VS nonsense. I'm going to get rid of that. We did not see anything. But I know you've seen live preview before. If folks never seen live preview, it's available in VS 2022. It lets you see your XAML apps inside of Visual Studio. So it's just kind of mirroring the screen into VS. I kind of like it when I'm doing UI changes. I don't have to switch back and forth between my app. Yeah. So in this case, like .NET Hot Reload and XAML Hot Reload together, right? Together, I'm changing the UI, right, as well. So all of this works. You can go ahead and change your look and feel. Then you can go ahead and change your code behind. You can switch back to your app. You can interact with your app to execute that code. Then you can go back to XAML. You can change the XAML some more. I've actually shown this workflow to a few people, and they were very excited, right? Because it allows this like full inner loop. You can stay in VS for most of the time. We are looking for interaction through this live preview in the future. It's just today it's a real limitation, but it's a really powerful, I think, experience. Like, not only do we enable you to change both sides of the fence live, the code and the visual, we bring the app into your Visual Studio, which I think is like a holy grail. We give you XAML binding failures now right in the IDE in a clear way. If you've never seen me demo this, I'm just Google for this. You'll find me doing like a million demos of this binding failure thing. So we're giving you live diagnostics in a visual way that was previously like buried in the output window. I'm really feeling like this is really one of the best times to be a .NET developer building with XAML, and we really hope that you try Maui and try all this stuff out.
Absolutely. I'm going to ask a question from Ben, and I removed it from the screen because I keep feeling bad for hiding Sweeky's face.
It's fine.
Ben, Sweeky's teammate, asks, is it best to use this feature with Windows?
So right now, if you're, the word Windows is overloaded in this context. So you have to be on Windows, VS on Windows to use this tech. We don't have it in VS for Mac at this time. And then if your app is targeting Windows, as in when you run your app and debug, it's a WinUI app, you're going to get the most amount of edits possible in the .NET side of it. So I highly encourage that as your path if hard reload is like the most important thing to you that day. And then we allow a more limited set of edits today on Android and iOS. So it's not blocked, but you'll just be able to make less changes.
Yeah, I think that's great advice. And it's certainly what we're driving for in terms of our default experience on the Windows platform, is to enable Windows as the first target that you hit and that you actually run against, because you do get more edits there with Coursera, as you mentioned previously. So that's really good.
Yeah, I have two more things I want to tell people. The one thing that I want to tell folks is that .NET Hard Reload is again very broadly available, and what you're going to see in messaging around, like, let's talk about WPF as an example, right? So if you're a WPF developer or an ASP.NET web developer, you're actually going to get Hard Reload on Control F5 in VS Windows. That means like no debugger. We're really excited about that. We find that it has very little to no impact on your app startup performance compared to like the full debugger, which is much richer and awesome, but sometimes that's just not the thing you want in your life. So Hard Reload will be available in Control F5. It's just not going to make it for the first release of Maui, most likely. We are trying our best, and it's in the roadmap. So eventually you'll be able to F5 or Control F5, but for now, stick to F5. That's where Hard Reload is available. We also have the added complexity of, if we make it work in Control F5 for you as a Maui developer, to make that super meaningful, we also have to bring XAML Hard Reload along for the ride. At least that's how we feel, and that's another set of work we'd have to do. So it's a lot of things in the future. I will be busy. I'm not losing. I'm not gaining free hours at work. Like, there's so much to do still. But with this first release, you're going to be able to do a lot that you couldn't do before. So we're really excited about that. I also want to point out that we've got, still a preview cycle. Like, please test this technology. Go install Preview 4. Give it a run with your real-world app. Please use the VS feedback mechanism. That's this magic button up here. Please click it, report an issue. We look at every issue. We have a triage call every week. I get to see every issue personally that gets filed. We truly, truly care to make this tech the best. And if something's not working for you, you can just feel free to just complain in there. It's cool, like, hey, I wish this worked. This is important to me. Here's why it's important to me. Make your advocacy case. But if you get like a weird behavior, like you press the button and that didn't work, Microsoft probably knows. No, don't assume that. We do not probably know. Please report it. You'd be shocked how many times it's an edge case because of like your particular environment. And Hard Reload is so complicated. I keep saying this. We have like 10 teams at Microsoft that had to come together to bring it to you. Please help us make this a quality product.
Yeah, that's awesome. And we also want to see the volume of people hitting an issue too. So even if it's a duplicate issue, that's really good.
Yeah.
Dmitry, are you okay for a few more minutes? There's a couple more questions here.
Yeah. In fact, I even have one more demo I want to do. I'm ambitious. How much time do we have on this live stream? Do we have time?
James says we have until 15 after.
Okay.
I told him no way we would use it, but
I know we were like, yeah, I'm happy to use it now.
There's another show right after us. Is why we need to vacate the stage.
Yeah, they're gonna kick us out. Like, get off the stage. Now, if we have 15 more minutes, I will use at least a part of that. So let me show one more thing, and then we'll do another round of questions. How about that? Sure. Just to keep the demo momentum going. I'm gonna switch gears to not a Maui app, but it's only for one purpose, and that is just to be in an app that has a lot more source code. This totally works for Maui. This what I'm about to show, as long as you're targeting Windows. This is a Wpf calculator. It's part of Wpf samples. It's a really bad calculator. Like the UI is terrible. It's like 7 + 7. You don't really see that, but when you click equals to, it's terrible. Like like as you type, things should appear. Whatever. It does its job, right? It's a calculator. It does all of these arithmetic operations, and it shows you the last thing you typed in here, and then it gives you the results in here. Like, it does all the things. So we'll give it credit for that. Now, the way it does it, I'm not gonna argue that this is the best code I've ever seen, but let's look at this gigantic switch statement. I mean a really, really gigantic switch statement. And let's hot reload this this monster here. I'm gonna scroll. I'm scrolling on purpose to be dramatic. It's a lot of code. I'm gonna remove it all. I'm gonna hit hot reload. We just removed it from the running app. This app is now gonna do absolutely nothing. It's gonna type in here, right? But none of the arithmetic operations are happening. Now I'm about to hit just Control Z to undo, but VS doesn't know that. Like I could have just typed all this from by hand. They could have typed each case individually and tested it individually. All of this would have worked. I'm gonna Control save, and now I'm gonna go hit equals 3 plus 3 equals, and I get 6. So we brought all this code back. And I can remove individual switch statements. I can make changes to code. I like to show this little demo because I don't want you to feel like hot reload is a toy, and that you're like, oh, Dmitry showed plus to minus. Good for him. It's not real world. I have like giant switch statements in my application. Go try hot reload. You'd be surprised how well it works and how many things it can do. And when occasionally it doesn't work, in the sense that occasionally it says you've got to restart, think of that as you've saved probably a bunch of time already, right? It's probably not the first thing you hit. If it's the first thing you hit, maybe the second thing you hit won't be that. And we will improve it over time. And now I will do my last thing before we go back to nothing but questions, which is the big reveal. Is there a sound effect, David?
There probably is, but you don't want me clicking buttons that I haven't tried.
He doesn't know where any button is. So
okay, how about you pretend?
We can do a drum roll.
Okay, go. Never before seen before. Minimize all the things. We are changing the icon of hot reload. We've worked some feedback. We have a new icon. I've never shown this before. As always, me showing something here isn't a commitment that we're going to ship it in a particular release or that it won't be cut for some reason. But I'm pretty sure we're going to get there. So we are looking at getting this into a future release. It might be 17.1. It might not make GA. But we are, you try something sometimes. We went from one icon to another icon. Now we're going to yet another icon. We reserve the right to change icons. The icon place won't change. Its name won't change. Its hotkeys won't change. It's going to stay very consistent. We were committed to that. But we might tweak the icons until we're happy. So there you go.
Icon designs have never started wars before. Never.
Never.
Nope.
It's totally
is that a fire or is that a comet fireball or something? What? I like it.
Setting your thing hot on fire. I don't know.
Comets are actually very cold, Sweeky. So not hot. It's cold hot. But it's also not a skunk's tail on fire. So
thank you for that absolutely specific clarification there. Thank you.
It's very important.
Questions?
All right, so let me see if I can scroll back up. Where were we?
Yeah, quite a few actually.
And if you don't get your answer question, there's my handle on Twitter. Please follow me. Please ask me questions. Please DM me. I really try to answer everything. So I'm here for you beyond this live stream.
Will this allow adding new files to the project, adding new XAML files?
It's something that we'd like to enable eventually. It's not enabled right now, but we are looking at that. It's definitely a very reasonable ask. It's something I would love myself. I think it would make a developer even more productive to be able to go from today. I kind of see this as a technology that lets you edit and move forward. We'd like you to build and move forward. Kind of do the whole building exercise if possible. That means a lot of edges have to get unblocked. This is one of them. Great question.
Right on. All right. Sweeky, did you see other questions?
Yeah, I saw one. So there's one from Storm Pooper, love you. Wow. Okay. Awkwardly said that out loud. Does hot reload work in breakpoints as well?
This is a complex question. So we have the debugger, right? Because you're F5ing, and if you hit a breakpoint, you will still get everything the debugger enables you to do. And I believe if you make a change in a breakpoint and you continue, hot reload will sort of pick that change up. We've gone back and forth on it for various reasons. I'm embarrassed to say I have not paid attention to what's happened there. That's not the primary scenario. Not because it's not an important scenario, but purely because there was so many other things we needed to do. We've been really focused on making sure the hot reload thing works the way it's advertised. We'll have clarity for this in the future, but yeah, we're looking to make that a thing because obviously, if you're broken and you make a change, why not apply that change as well?
Cool. Literally everything has another. It's full of good questions today. Does hot reload require data or Wi-Fi on device?
Well, hot reload is for a Maui developer, a debugger mechanism. So as long as you're connected to your app with the debugger, you will get hot reload. Hope that makes sense. It's not really specific. Like if your device is completely isolated from all connectivity, and if your developer machine can't connect to that device, you're in trouble. The debugger is not going to work. But if you're connected somehow to that device, you'll be okay. That device doesn't need internet access per se; it just needs access to the Visual Studio instance that's running.
Cool. Very good. There are quite a few questions that are more general to Maui and how it compares to Xamarin. What does Maui support versus Xamarin? I am not going to get into those today because it's not really the topic of the day, but I will take those questions and I think we'll organize an AMA where we can do that. I will also go update our wikis and our FAQs to reflect answers to these questions. So I think that's probably the best use of that time because there's quite a few of them, and I think it would make sense to address them all at once. Let's see, this one might be a good one to answer. You mentioned this is a C# feature. What about F#?
Yeah, F# does not support hot reload in that .NET 6 timeframe. If you would like F# to support it, you've got to go to the F# GitHub repo and make your voice heard. That would be my encouragement.
So I think that kind of dovetails with another question that was up above, and I don't know if I'll find it to be able to put it on screen, but the question was, well, what about VS Code? And I will go ahead and answer that one. So when it comes to C#, VS Code, and Maui related things, check out the Comet extension for VS Code. This is from James Clancy. Comet is built upon the core of .NET MAUI. So there's layers to, where things are. And so we share all of the native components and architecture of MAUI with Comet. Comet takes an MVU perspective on doing multi-platform development. And so you may find that meets your needs. On the F# side, Fabulous, which is a project built upon Xamarin Forms, and which is also looking at what it can do with .NET MAUI. I saw there was some current conversation on the Discord about this. It actually has its own hot reload mechanism based on its implementation of MVU. So that is an opportunity where you could utilize that if you're, of course, targeting the platforms that each of those frameworks supports. But they are features of those frameworks, and they use more of a, I don't know if I would call it server client, but it doesn't necessarily need to be a debugging situation. There's usually a NuGet that you need to install, and then you can be up and running. So a couple of options for you there. Well, Dmitry, Sweeky, we're running close to the time. I don't want to freak out the team that's coming up after us to do their stream.
They just kick us out anyways.
But this was, they would probably just boot us. James Montemagno's probably hovering the switch right now, like, come on, guys. But Dmitry, thank you for joining and sharing this cool stuff with us. It's always, I'm obviously very excited about this because it's right in the core of my world and features we've been planning and dreaming about for years. And Sweeky, thank you for wearing the colorful outfit and sharing the cultural festival with us. I will continue to wear. Those who know me and are on meetings with me know that this is pretty much my uniform for work anyway. So I'm covered up through the last 2 days of the festival.
I'm from New York, and New Yorkers only wear black. So it's just a limitation we have. I'm meeting the expectation today.
You guys, you have it's just one color per day. It's not that hard. I'm pretty sure everybody has one T-shirt of this color. Come on, guys. Come on, dig deep.
I used to get hats, different color hats.
That works.
If we were Jeff Fritz, we would have different colored hats and whatnot.
Right.
Yeah, our T-shirt is pretty minimal these days without traveling to conferences and whatnot. I'm running pretty low on quality T-shirts, except for my Maui. The Maui T-shirts.
I have a bunch of the Maui T-shirts now. So yeah. I need to get a Maui mug. Yeah.
T-shirts. We got to get more T-shirts. It's becoming a tragedy at this point. I'm at home. All my T-shirts are worn out.
Yeah.
I'm like, it's terrible.
Yeah. We'll figure it out. Well, thank you very much for joining. Thank you everybody for watching and asking the questions. Great interactions. And we will see you next month with a new Maddie with a new Twitter handle. Bye.
Yeah. Bye.